Okay, everybody. I have something really cool to tell you about. If you haven't heard yet about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain here. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. Now, the way that you can do this is you got to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, and then you can get started. It's really fun. We just switched over recently here at All Too Real 2, and I'm enjoying it so far. So be sure to check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me via Zoom is...
Matthew Richie Rich Haas.
Interesting name.
Yeah.
Now, are the C's in your name all, like, cent signs?
Yes.
Okay.
I changed it legally. It actually cost extra money to do symbols.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't really know if that's true or not. But
I heard it cost a little bit extra cents to use the cent sign. Okay.
Yep.
I'm done.
I'm done too after watching this fucking movie.
Okay, so if you couldn't tell by the title or what we're saying right now, today we are covering the direct-to-video sequel, Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. This film was released in 1998, directed by John Merlowski, who has also directed...
Everything.
Yes, everything under the sun. No, he directed a movie called Santa with Muscles. Amityville: A New Generation. A movie called Contagion. Oh wait, did he? No, yeah, he directed. Yeah, that's not the famous movie called Contagion.
Oh, okay.
This is a 2002 movie.
Oh, okay.
Directed a movie called Cop Dog. TV movie called A Golden Christmas. Another movie called Christmas Mail. Sensing a theme on this a little bit. The last thing he did was a movie this year called Birth Mother's Betrayal. Which is a film about a woman who becomes suspicious when her adopted daughter's birth mother re-enters her life and starts to display increasingly erratic behavior. Okay, so I was just curious what the plot of that was. Alrighty, so that's the director. It's written by Rob Kirscher and Jason Pfeffer. Rob wrote, the last thing he wrote was the direct-to-video sequel to War Games called War Games The Dead Code.
Cool.
He also wrote Turbulence 2, Fear of Flying.
Wow.
He wrote Carnosaur 3, Primal Species. These are all good candidates for future, movies. He also wrote Addams Family Reunion, which we will have for an upcoming episode. I think this one is going to air before that one, but we already recorded the Family Reunion. So
yeah.
He also wrote Casper Meets Wendy, another direct-to-video sequel.
Yeah.
It seemed he's wrote Blood Fist 4, Blood Fist 5, The Unborn 2, Caged Heat 2. Yeah, so looks like he's written a lot of direct-to-video sequels.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Jason Pfeffer, the other writer, has only written this movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. That's
happens.
Yeah. He's done other film things, but that's the only movie he's written. Okay, so this movie it stars David Gallagher, who people know from Seventh Heaven.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was wondering
where you knew him from.
Yeah, I was, because I was yeah.
He stars as Richie Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene Levy stars as Professor Keenbean. Keen Curtis stars as Cadbury. Jake Richardson is Reggie Van Doe. Martin Mull and Leslie Ann Warren, both of whom appeared in the movie Clue, played the Rich, Mr. and Mrs. Rich, Richie's parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also play Britta Perry's parents in Community.
Yes. Oh, they didn't they?
Yes, that's season 6, episode 2.
I forgot that it was both of them. I remembered Richard well, but
they always seem to play together a lot for some reason. Is it? Are they married in real life, or is that just?
I think they're just friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, while this movie was made, the then current Mrs. Trump appeared in the movie as Mrs. Van Doe.
Wait, what?
Yes, the then current Mrs. Trump, Marla Maples.
Who did she play?
She played Mrs. Van Doe.
Who's that?
That would be Reggie's mom.
Really? Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's really interesting, considering that much of this movie is almost ripped off from Back to the Future 2, if you really think about it. So many of it, actually, so much of it.
Well, it's that and It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, you got the mad scientist played by, of course, the brilliant Eugene Levy, and then you have. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to the whole Reggie part later. But
yeah, but this was shortly before she divorced Donald.
Yeah,
and Marla Maples, who also known as the mother to Tiffany Trump, the forgotten child.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be associated with that family, so maybe it's a good thing.
Also, Gloria was played by Michelle Trachtenberg, who people may know from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Euro Trip, among other things. Yeah, Richard Fancy played Mr. Van Doe. Also, Sergeant Mooney was played by Richard Reel, who is to be soon, hopefully, a future guest on our show. So,
wow,
yeah. I've been talking to him. We'll see what happens here soon. But people may know him from Office Space, among other things. So.
Yeah, he's the guy. The whole jump to conclusions, Matt.
Yeah,
I love that. That's like he was like probably like my top 3 characters in that whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was just so hilarious. And he was good in this too, because I recognized him immediately when I saw him. I'm like, oh, yep.
He's a great character actor in my opinion. This movie, what happens in this movie, Matt? Anything? This movie's only 84 minutes too, so
I call this the 90s effect. It's so much stuff happens in these movies in such a short period of time. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around it. It's very confusing. This movie was action-packed, surprisingly so. In fact, I was not expecting to be this much action in like a made-for-TV movie, but just starting it off, basically, the Phantom Menace stole ideas from this movie with the pod racers, evidently, because this whole movie begins with like a really long pod racing scene with sleds that are like powered by gas or whatever, and he's playing with his friends, and then the butler like has like a remote that can like actually like force the cars to come back home or whatever. So that's what he does after like this really long, like 5-minute long scene of them racing and stuff. And he has to like, even though he's like a 12-year-old kid, he has to like do all this like, public appearances and conference calls. Like you got 3 conference calls. Like for what? He's 12 years old. What the heck? Like, and his parents are still running the business, so it's like, why does he need to be on the conference calls? They never explained that, but whatever. Just lots of weird gimmicks in this movie. Like Eugene Levy plays like the mad scientist kind of guy, and he's like making all of these, goofy little inventions and stuff like that. But like even before that, like Richie has like a robot made for some unexplained reason.
Well, this is all based on the on the comic book.
Okay.
So in the comic book, there is a Professor Keen Bean. There's also Irona, the maid. I used to, when I was a little kid, I used to watch the animated Richie Rich TV show, so all of this seemed normal to me.
Okay, well, at least that's like part of the canon then or whatever, because I wasn't really sure, because I was confused. I'm like, why is there a maid robot? And then like there's like this weird fabricator machine that can change his clothes for him, but then that breaks down. But then there's also another fabricator. So potentially the Phantom Menace and Legends of Tomorrow stole stuff from this movie, because the pod racing scene, this came out in 1998. Phantom Menace came out 1 year later. The Legends thing, they got a fabricator that like makes all your favorite food and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's kind of a trope, though. I mean,
okay.
Star Trek: The Next Generation had a replicator which did the same thing. Okay,
so I didn't know that, so I'm kind of maybe basing my stuff on what I'm familiar with.
No, I know. I was just letting you know that that's kind of a trope.
Okay, it would be cool. I mean, if we can make something like that, that'd be awesome. But just buy one piece of food and just keep replicating it for eternity. There you go.
I know.
They just save a lot of money that way. But so anyway, he's doing what he's supposed to do and stuff, and they got like this get together with I guess Reggie's his cousin, technically, according to Wikipedia at least.
I'm not sure. I don't know if that's true. I think somebody just wrote that.
okay, it seemed like the person who wrote it was like joking around because like the way they wrote it was like almost like they were being sarcastic, kind of.
Yeah, because I don't think
like,
I don't think in canon he is his cousin. I think he's just another rich kid in town.
Yeah, basically, like, you know, that's what happens. You basically associate with other rich families and stuff like that to make connections and stuff like that. So that's and this scene right here kind of like shows the differences between the characters, which is important for the rest of the movie because Reggie's parents are like really callous. Like he's talking, you know, to Mr. Rich about like, oh yeah, we just shut down the factory yesterday or whatever. It was becoming too much of a, you know, like the profit margins were terrible or whatever. And then he's like, you know, he asked like Mr. Rich, like, how are you doing? Whatever. And he's like, oh, we're doing great. We just gave our employees an extra week of vacation. And the other guy's like, well, I think that's a terrible precedent to set or something like that. It's like, you know, like, how dare you, you know, give your workers more time off, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of shows like the difference of attitudes between the two families because Reggie, you know, pretty much has adopted all of his father's teachings about wealth and how you treat people and stuff like that. So he's like a complete brat. Like I even said, my niece was over here, and I even said I want to behead this kid. Like, straight up murder this child because he's, you know, treating the adults like shit. And at one point, Richie actually puts hot because he was complaining about his tea not having cream in it. So Richie poured, I don't know why he got hot sauce from randomly just sitting there for some unexplained reason, but whatever, the hot sauce was there. And then so he like poured it into Reggie's cup, and then like Reggie spit it out, you know, pulling the Danny Thomas. By the way, Danny Thomas is from Toledo, Ohio, and he's the one who invented the spit take. So
no, he perfected it.
Perfected it. Yeah.
I don't know if he invented it.
Okay.
he was considered the master of it.
he made it famous. And so basically, what happens after this is Richie's supposed to deliver a bunch of Christmas presents to like an orphanage, and Reggie finds that remote that what's his name, Cadbury, the butler.
Yeah.
He finds the same remote that Cadbury used earlier to like control the sleigh, and so like he's like making Richie like go faster and stuff like that, and like he can't really control it, so he like crashes through like the fence at the orphanage, and then like he takes him off a cliff. So like Reggie was literally trying to murder Richie. Like can we talk about that for a second? Like he was literally about to commit murder against Richie and Cadbury, but luckily they jumped off the sleigh.
Well, for some reason, rich people do that all the time, don't they?
Well, yeah. According to, you know, the QAnon, you know, the elites are doing, you know, satanic rituals, and who knows? Maybe in the cutscenes, Reggie was going to be sacrificed later on. So, you know, and have his brain juice harvested.
That's in the sequel.
Yeah, it's in part 3.
Richie Rich's satanic sacrifice. It's It's somehow a rated R movie for kids. It's
Richie's all grown up, and his hobbies have gotten more extreme.
Yeah, and his only goal in life is to sacrifice Reggie to Satan. No, what the hell? Yes. Yeah. For
some reason that the vault presents explode, and like some of the worst special effects I've seen in my life. Granted, 1998, and the effects looked like they were from like 1984. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, this is typical Saban Entertainment effects. I mean, they're the same ones that produced the Power Rangers and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the start of it. What do you think happens after that?
Well, basically, okay, so Richie thinks that the whole thing is his fault, and earlier we Professor Keenbean had created this thing called a wishing machine that looked like a washing machine.
Yep.
Where you could make any wish you wanted. earlier it misunderstood. At one point, it misunderstood Richie when he wished for pie, and somehow he got a pigsty.
Yeah, it was a big pie. Is what
yeah,
he wished
but he got a pigsty, and But anyways, Richie goes to the laboratory and he goes to the wishing machine, and he accidentally wishes that he was never born in front of the machine, and he's transported into like a parallel universe where he was never born, and nobody recognizes him. Reggie has somehow become Richard and Regina Rich's son now. Somehow they became his like guardians or something, and he like sued to like divorce his parents, and they got stuck like working at the museum or something, and and in this whole world, because like this is basically It's a Wonderful Life in a way, you know, because the whole, you know, I wish I was never born, you know, the world would have been better without me sort of thing, so everything in the town, instead of being like Richville, it's all named after Reggie now, and basically, his parents don't recognize him, but somehow his dog Dollar does. That's right, his dog is named Dollar. That's in the canon of the thing, and he's a white dog with little dollar sign spots on him, which is also canon from the comic books and the cartoons and everything. You know what? After watching this, I realized that I don't know if I ever watched the Macaulay Culkin original Richie Rich movie.
Oh, really? I watched. To be honest, I actually think this one was better than that one.
Really?
Somehow.
Probably has a better plot, maybe. I don't know.
There's more stuff going on. Yeah, there is.
Yeah. I don't remember the movie at all. I watched the trailer for it, like after I watched this movie, and I'm like, none of this seems familiar to me. But anyways, they oh boy, this is so okay. Anyways, so earlier on in the movie, in the real world, we had learned that Cadbury used to be the roadie for a band called Root Canal. So after realizing nobody recognizes him and all this stuff, he decides to go try to find Cadbury and tracks down Root Canal. Which, by the way, I'm going to start a band tomorrow called Root Canal. So if anybody wants to join, just message me and let me know. We're going to just cover the one or two songs that they do.
Yeah, the one. Sorry, that name is just. I've had a root canal before, and I don't ever want to hear that phrase again. Like, why would you name your band that?
I've had actually a couple root canals, and I actually didn't mind them.
Oh well.
I mean, I mean, it was kind of painful and stuff, but I'm just saying it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. But still, yeah. So he wasn't in the band. He was just a roadie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, that's what I gathered, at least. So,
okay.
They have to. They end up, he ends up convincing Cadbury that what he's saying is true. But he's on the run, by the way, also because he had taken Dollar with him when he left the rich house. And he's a dog napper now. And it's the whole town is off, basically trying to track down a dog napper because there must not be any other kind of crime in this fucking city.
Even though everyone's homeless, pretty much.
But the number one priority for Sergeant Moody and everyone is to find the dog napper.
Right. And the thing is, Reggie doesn't even like his dog that much because at one point he pulls on his leash really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't treat a dog like that, you piece of shit.
That's why he's going to get his and Richie Rich's satanic sacrifice or whatever we're calling it. Yeah.
He's going to let Dollar eat him.
Yes. That's what happens after it. Yeah. I'm wondering if Harvey Comics would allow us to make this movie.
Yeah.
I'll have to pitch it to them, and see if they'll go for this. Anyways, God, this movie was annoying. Anyways, I mean, it wasn't horrible. It just wasn't good. And, yeah, so, do you want to take a break, Matt? I need to clear my head here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll be back with the rest of the plot, folks. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Tom.
And I'm Brian,
Hosts of Be Hero Fights.
home of the greatest debates of our time.
We tackle the tough topics such as
Fortnite versus Call of Duty.
McDonald's vs. Burger King.
John Wick versus...
Wait, is that really fair?
Nevertheless, join us weekly on Spotify, Apple, Google, and pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts.
And hear the madness ensue.
And as always,
fight on.
Hey, folks, this is Michael E. Cullen II from the podcast that you're listening to right now, along with
Matthew Haas.
We just wanted to tell you about our great podcast called Super. It's called All Too Real. And on that show, what do we do, Matt?
We watch biopics, and then we talk about whether or not the movie matched up with the real story or not.
So
It was a lot more exciting than that, though.
Yeah, so we analyze the real story and the real story.
Get it?
Get it?
Real.
Yeah, they're spelled differently, folks. You can guess which one I said which way.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, so sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. But we talk about great movies like Shattered Glass and The Social Network and Futile and Stupid Gesture, among others. Those are some of the ones that we've covered so far, and we're going to cover a lot more. So please subscribe on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your great, fun podcasts. And be sure to share it with your friends.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
And make sure you're not afraid to get all too real. Bye-bye. And we are
Back. Oh.
Indeed. So, okay, Richie, he's the main star of this movie. Yep. Okay, he all right, like I said, he found Cadbury, who was still part of Root Canal. And then they later find Keen Bean, who has a laboratory of his own called Keen Bean's World of Wonders. Richie talks to Keen Bean about the wishing machine, and like you said, yeah, it's very Back to the Future. It's actually Back to the Future 1-ish, where it's like Richie knows about the machine that the mad scientist doesn't really know everything about yet.
Right. Well, it's a combination actually because but then also it's like Back to the Future 2 with Biff Tannen buys the city and everyone's homeless and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like interesting.
But yeah, he basically explains that to make the wishing machine work, you need a Pegliosaurus wishing bone. A Pegliosaurus wishing bone.
There you go. That's a cool band name.
Pegliosaurus wishing bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They realize that they can get one at the museum where Reggie's parents work. They end up stealing it after they do a skateboard thing underneath a bunch of laser things, like that are set off alarms. What are those called? Laser alarm triggers, motion triggers.
Motion detectors.
Yeah. Okay, then they come back with the wishing bone. And they get the machine to work properly. However, before Richie could wish himself back, of course, Reggie arrives there with the policemen. And Richie and all of his friends and Keen Bean and Cadbury and everything are all put in jail. Oh yeah, by the way, he hooked up with all of his friends from his real world who now become friends with him because they believe he's a good guy because he hates Reggie.
Right. Like, they don't remember him, but they just kind of believe him at this point that he's telling the truth. So it's kind of a weird type of relationship where it's like they themselves don't really even know him, but they're like, well, we'll just hear him out and believe he's telling the truth.
Yes. Indeedy. So anyways, they end up in jail. Everybody does. And then Reggie takes the machine home. He wishes for the ability to fly. But before he can make another wish, Dollar runs off with the wishbone. And takes it to the people the people that are in jail. They try to get the dog to get the keys in the jail cell to get him out. But they are actually then bailed out by root canal. Because Richie had taught them a song. And because of that song, somehow within this, what seems like 1 day period, they signed with a record label.
And got paid a bunch of money, I guess.
Yeah, because now they were in a limo.
Dude, it wasn't even a day. It was like a matter of like 6 hours.
I don't work in the music industry, but and I'm pretty sure in the 90s, it took more than a day to get signed to a record label.
Yeah.
But what do I know? Sorry,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, if anybody out there knows of any instance where somebody got signed to a record label like in less than a day, let me know.
Yeah, give us a call or whatever. Yeah. No, I'll just say really quick. There was also another 90s trope, but also more of an 80s and 70s, but in the 90s it wasn't as bad, but it was still kind of lingering. It's the inappropriate stuff when it comes to adult female women talking about young male children. Oh, yeah. And there's a scene where he's pretending to be one of the members of the band when the cops are looking for him at the place where they're going to play the show.
Yeah.
Where they're rehearsing. And then, like, one of them's like feeding him like grapes or something like that or whatever. And then
there's these twins, like these female twins that are
really attractive
backup singers in the band.
Yeah. And then so one of them is like feeding him chocolate and stuff or whatever, like when he's talking to the cops. And then when the cops leave, he's like, "Thank you, ladies," or whatever. And then like one of them's like, "Yeah, give us a call when you're allowed to stay up past 9 o'clock." And it's like, okay, so most kids are allowed to stay up past 9 before they're the age of 18. So are you saying like when he's 13 or 14 years old to give you a call? Like, what?
Well, we'll find out in the sequel. And
yeah, because they're actually his partners now in the satanic rituals. So because it requires twins in order to make it more successful of a spell. So
yes. Yes, that is the best plot point of the whole movie. Anyways,
oh god.
So Okay, so anyways, they get bailed out by root canal, and they rush to Reggie's house, and while he is still sleeping, Richie tries to wish himself back. However, they find that the machine is no longer working, as Reggie had kicked it in anger earlier. While
barely kicked
it. So then Keen Bean is trying to fix it. Reggie wakes up and comes flying in because, he's still floating and whatnot. He gets attacked by Richie and his friends and, thrown into the wall through a painting of himself. Sergeant Mooney, yeah, it's Mooney. Sorry, I said Moody earlier, but it's Mooney. Sergeant Mooney refuses to work for him because Reggie had decided earlier to cancel Christmas, which I didn't know you could do, even if you are the leader of a town or mayor or whatever the fuck you are.
Yeah, how can you cancel? Unless you're going to send the cops in every person's house and make sure they're not celebrating Christmas. I mean,
well, these people in the world that think there's a war on Christmas probably think that this is what's going to happen because they get pissed off because a cup at Starbucks says Happy Holidays or some bullshit, and people in in the stores care more about other holidays, but it's okay because you know what. It's wrong to say Black Lives Matter, but you have to say Merry Christmas because all lives matter, but only Christmas matters and not other holidays.
Yes.
So
Hanukkah doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa does not matter. Ramadan does not matter when it happens to fall in December.
Yeah.
None of those.
Festivus doesn't matter.
No. Does not. Like Carlson said, he said that liberals are going to force you to drink Starbucks from now on if Joe Biden's president. And of course, that's a double insult because not only are you going to be forced to drink Starbucks, but you're going to have to force to see the Happy Holidays cups that are rubbing it in your nose. You have to drink our coffee, and we won't say Merry Christmas to you. Yes, we won the culture war against the oppressed Christians of America. We're actually the most privileged group in the entire country. Anyway,
so this hasn't happened already because I've been forced every day to drink Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
I have a guy come to my house every morning, and he just shoves it down my throat. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah, he's just like here, drink this cafe mocha with caramel, and
well, there you go. That's how Joe Biden's going to do a job creations program. Is that so many people are going to be hired in as the Starbucks enforcers, and they got to go from house to house or apartment to apartment to make sure everyone's drinking your Starbucks for the day. So, that's millions of jobs right there.
And then he forces me to use weird sizes like Venti, and
yeah, exactly.
He's like, what size shirt are you wearing? And I was like, it's a Venti shirt. It's a Venti shirt.
Oh God.
So, anyways, back to the Richie Rich. So, like I said, Sergeant Mooney stops working for him because because Reggie wants to cancel Christmas. After that, they get the machine to start working, and then Richie wishes himself back as Richie Rich.
Mm-hmm.
So he sets things right in his real world and is now grateful to be alive. As everyone is glad to have him back, they gather around a Christmas tree and they sing. And they have this shot where the people look weird, they don't they were pasted there or stuff. It was weird.
Yeah,
it was almost Birdemic level effects. It was really weird.
That's right. Can I talk about the fact that when he wished himself, it was like this weird, like psychotropic scene where he's like flying through all this like laser shit.
Yeah, it's like when the TARDIS goes flying in Doctor Who or something.
It looked like this movie was like a magic mushroom trip of a movie. Really,
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. And so, oh yeah, too. I forgot to mention that Reggie reconverted the robot to be like this weird flame breathing thing.
Yeah, with a Bride of Frankenstein looking hairdo or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, that was just a little minor point, but also too, not everything did go according, because now Cadbury's like in a wheelchair all of a sudden. How'd that happen?
It was because of the accident when they were in. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. But Cadbury and what's her face, the orphanage lady, get together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So there is depending on which version people watched, if they watched this before listening to this, there's the extended TV ending, which Reggie is caught red-handed by his parents with his actions against Richie, and Reggie's parents make him apologize for the trouble he caused to Richie, admitting that he was the one who took control of the sleigh and ruined the event. Richie realizes that it wasn't his fault, and he made the wish for nothing. And then Reggie and Richie forgive each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, but Reggie's the only culprit in this situation.
I know. So yeah, that's what happens in that version. And just so, I mean, if people, I probably should have said this at the beginning before we started talking, but you know, if you listen to this and you hadn't watched it yet, it's on Disney Plus. It's also on YouTube for free. That's uploaded by somebody too. So,
that's right. That's what I watched, because I forgot it was on Disney Plus, so I watched it on YouTube.
Oh.
Like a shitty quality version. Hey, but that's fine, because that kind of gave a taste of how the movie was going to be. So.
Yeah, I watched it on Disney Plus. But the you know, and then it automatically right afterwards started playing Home Alone. So
wait, not Home Alone 4?
No, because that's not on Disney Plus yet. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I don't know why it's not, because it is owned by Disney, the movie. So
yeah.
And neither is Home Alone 5. So
right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, who knows?
I think that's interesting, is that Home Alone 1, 2, and 4 are about Kevin McAllister, but Home Alone 4 is played by a different actor. But then Home Alone 3 and 5 are different families and kids all together.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
We need to, in the future, sometime cover 5 for the podcast.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, yeah.
Which I do believe that's up on YouTube as well.
Okay.
So, but, anyways, do you want to take another break here, Matt? And then we'll come back and we'll talk about some trivia and some reviews about the movie.
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, folks. This is Michael E. Cullen II from the podcast that you're listening to right now, along with
Manager Matthew Haas.
You got promoted?
Yes.
Damn it. Okay, anyways, folks, do you like the show Superstore? I don't know. I asked the folks and nobody's answering me.
Because they're not here.
Oh,
but we love
damn
it.
Yeah, we love it, though. Okay, folks, if you like it as much as we do, you're really going to like the Super Story podcast, which is a podcast where Matthew and I go episode by episode and give our little opinions and thoughts on it. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Just depends on how we're feeling.
Yeah.
And, so if you like this podcast and like our little crazy banter,
then you should definitely check this out. Or I might get sad. And when I get sad, it gets pretty sad.
yeah,
So
I can't deal with him when he's sad.
yeah, no one can really. So
Yeah. So check out Super Story Podcast right here where you get this podcast, Super Story Podcast.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve? but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
And we are back. So, okay, here's some trivia about Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, the 1998 video film. Okay, like I said before, Martin Mull and Leslie Ann Warren had previously worked together in the movie Clue as Colonel Mustard and Miss Scarlet, respectively, and then went on to work on Community, as Matt pointed out, too, as Britta's parents. This was Keen Curtis who played Cadbury, his final acting role before his death on October 13th, 2002, at the age of 79. David Gallagher was on Seventh Heaven, and in one episode, Jake Richardson, who played Reggie, appeared in that show as well.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
So, let's see here. So, here's some reviews really quick here of the movie, culled from the Internet Movie Database. I decided to say data today instead of data. Okay, here's a 1 out of 10 review. The headline is Black Christmas. This is from Writerman GP. This is written on July 28th of 2002, which is the perfect time of year to watch this movie. In July. Okay. This is the worst movie I ever remember seeing. I've seen some pretty bad ones in my time. Believe me, the acting isn't just bad, it's abysmal. And then it just says ludicrous, and I don't know if he's just, you know, a fan of the rapper or wait, no, it's spelled different. Okay, it's like the makers tried to make this film so it would be awful and boring and silly as humanly possible. Culkin's Rich isn't great, but it's a heck of a lot better than this dreck. The people who made this ought to be banned from the film industry. The only reason this could have been made was for money.
Isn't any movie
exactly? And he says, "Don't let it steal yours!" Exclamation point. Avoid this movie like a disease. Why? Because it sucks like a black hole.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
As it turns out, most people don't avoid diseases these days, so, you know.
Exactly.
The analogy doesn't really work anymore. Avoid it like the plague. Well, no one avoids the plague anymore, so.
Exactly. So, okay, here's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay. David Gallagher is so cute. This is written by @80 on November 24th of 2002.
Okay. Near Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yep.
The movie's only moderate, but I like to show it to my kids. No violence. Wait. No violence? There's plenty of fucking violence in this movie.
Yeah.
Define violence here, people. Okay,
Reggie literally tried to murder Richie and
exactly.
Cadbury.
Nice plot and captures the Christmas atmosphere. And David Gallagher definitely looks cute in a ski bib overalls. I remember my youth every time I see this movie. Okay, I just want to point out this movie. This review was like 4 years after the movie came out.
Right.
And
my youth.
And this person has kids, and they like to show this movie to their kids. And they are obsessed over how cute David Gallagher, who was like 12 when he made this fucking movie, is. That's creepy.
Well, maybe the person was like 16 when, or maybe they were like 14 when it came out, and then they're 18. Then they had kids really young. I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, it's just weird because David Gallagher was still a teenager when in 2002, I believe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Just seems weird to me.
Yep.
Okay, here is an 8 out of 10. Written by Guitar 8 on November 4th of 2007.
Well, November again.
Yes. The headline is, Jake Richardson stole the movie with his really bad moods. It's not often that a villain steals the performance. Besides Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch of the West in Wizard of Oz, Jake Richardson falls into that category. He plays the bratty Reggie Van Doe, who threatens to be in a really bad mood if he doesn't get his way. Maybe he should have dated Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. All in all, this holiday movie is awesome, and David Gallagher did a better job than Macaulay Culkin in the title role. Glad that Jake and David also did a Seventh Heaven episode where Jake played a bad boy who had a gun. Maybe he should have told Simon to break up with his girl or he'd get into a really bad mood. So let me get this straight. They are trying to say that his performance as Reggie Van Doe, no offense to Jake Richardson, he did do a decent job in this movie, but they're trying to say it's on par with one of the greatest villains in cinema history.
Yep.
Okay, because when I think of great villains in film history, I think, Hannibal Lecter and Darth Vader and Reggie Van Doe in Richie Rich's Christmas Wish.
Yep, it's just those three, top of three.
Yep. 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 Okay. Yep. Yeah, I think that's about it. The rest of these reviews are really actually pretty long, and I don't feel like reading them all out.
Yeah.
So, would you recommend this movie to anyone, Matt?
No, I wouldn't actually. No. I watched it patiently tonight or earlier, but I don't know. It's not even one of those movies where you can really make fun of while you're watching it. I mean, we're doing it now because we're used to doing this, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like a good like Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie or anything either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Speaking of which, very soon we're gonna have Jonah Ray from Mystery Science Theater 3000 hopefully on the show. So, anyways, I don't know. It's definitely something you could probably have on, like if you have kids over and you just don't want to think, and they might enjoy enjoy it like little kids or something. And I mean, this does tend to play on that
25 Days of Christmas thing that they have every year on what is now Freeform and used to be like ABC Family or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I know they play this every year as part of that. So, you know, it's good for that purpose, like something that you can just, if you can't find something else to entertain your kids, this might work.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's got Eugene Levy in it.
Yeah, I know. It had like a lot of, good actors in
I
this
mean,
movie.
the cast was actually pretty good. I mean, you got, I mean, Leslie Ann Morin and Richard Moll and, you got decent people. And, I mean, I don't know. Michelle Trachtenberg even in a small role before she was really big and famous.
Which one's that?
She played his female friend. What
was she in after that?
Oh, she was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's right.
She was Harriet the Spy. She was in Euro Trip. She was in a lot of things. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Right.
But yeah.
Well,
she's a good actor.
Wait a minute. Didn't Buffy, though, start in the same year? So when did she come into that show?
Towards the end. She was in the last couple seasons or so.
That's because she'd still be like a little kid if, like...
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to spoil Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which came out,
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 20...
Yeah, so there was some kind of like supernatural thing that happened, and all of a sudden Buffy had a little sister.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's who she was, and it was like, sort of a, like she never existed before, but all of a sudden she did.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So
but you spoiled it for me. It's been like what, 15 years since it's been off the air or something. No, when did it come out the air? Was it 2005 or 7 when it was off?
I don't know, but it's been a while though, at least.
Yeah.
It's been enough for the, statute of limitations here when it comes to this.
Great show though. Great show. I used to watch it a lot when it was on.
I like it a lot. I like Angel a lot too, though. Anyways,
good one.
I'm still mad that my ex-girlfriend stole my DVDs of
of Angel or both.
Of Buffy. I think she bought me the Buffy ones and I bought her the Angel ones, or something. Whichever it was. But anyways, yeah. She took them both either way.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. But that's okay. Life goes on, Matt.
Yep.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways,
I was just watching Harry Potter Goblet of Fire. Like I think it was last night, and it's actually one of the lines that Bartimaeus Crouch says to Harry. Actually, he's like, because he was talking about how like his son was became like a Death Eater, and then had to send him to prison and stuff. And he was
there's a part in the movie where he talks about his ex-girlfriend taking his Buffy the Vampire Slayer
yes,
DVD.
actually, that's in the cutscene. Bartimaeus Crouch Sr., who is the head of the magical law enforcement, he's like, yeah, my girlfriend stole the Buffy the Vampire Slayer DVDs from me. Yep. He's telling Harry this, and Harry's like, okay, that's weird. Tell me this. And then Hermione called to him because she could see that he's visibly uncomfortable, and she calls him over. Hey, come over! I gotta talk to you about something. He's like, oh, I gotta go, sir. And he's like, that was a weird conversation.
Oh God!
Why are we like this?
I don't know, but. Anyways, anything else before we go here, Matt?
No, other than just don't watch this movie if you can help it.
All right. This movie was so bad. Anyways,
yeah.
So, make sure, check out all the links we have in our show notes, people. Follow us on Twitter. If you prefer listening to this on YouTube, it's on YouTube as well. If you want to give us, any kind of donations or money or anything, we got a Patreon. We've got a place where you can get T-shirts, TeePublic. We've got a lot of things, and there's a bunch of things where you can donate to some charities and things of that nature. And pretty soon, it's not happening yet. By the time this happens, but look for the future. We'll have a link to we're setting up a charity. Me and some of my friends are setting up a charity for a scholarship to college for filmmakers in honor of our friend Jamal Wallace Knight. So, once that happens, I'll definitely link that in the show notes. But follow us on Facebook and everywhere else, and I'll get that info. Hi, this is Mike from the future, breaking in really quick, just to let you know that the reason we talked about Jamal Wallace Knight, who has appeared on the show in the past, was because he just passed away recently, and that's why we were talking about that. We go more in depth in that in a future episode that won't be airing until after the first of the year, but just thought I'd let you folks know. Rest in peace. Now, back to the previously recorded episode.
Well, I just recently uploaded my music, volume 5 of my music compilations, where I just kind of put some, funny, not funny, just some cool video clips and stuff to my music to kind of make it a little bit more interactive and stuff like that. And I also dedicated that to Jamal's memory as well. I almost felt weird doing it for this movie because it's such a piece of shit movie. I was like, I don't know, respectful to,
But yeah, but it's cool and all, and we will link stuff to your music in the show notes as well.
Okay.
And so yeah, but rest in peace, Jamal. Went to his memorial today as we record this, so he's still on my mind. That's why I'm talking about him. So. But anyways, be safe, wear a mask, live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.